So what is going on with eBay sales this summer? It's not a typical summer. There are major and drastic changes that have taken place that have drastically changed what happens typically in summer. So today we're going to delve into it and talk about eBay's summer sales here in 2025. Hey, it's Don. Today I wanted to talk about summer sales here in eBay. A major drastic change has taken place in the last year or so with what goes on typically for many sellers on eBay. Typically there is a summer fall off for many sellers, not everybody. It depends on what you sell, but this year something very drastically has changed that aspect. And what's happened, at least for us as well as many other folks that we talk to who sell similar things, is right now our sales are better than they have ever been in our entire life in a summer. We have been running fourth quarter Christmas month sales for running on 13 months now. Typically, you do see a little bit of a decline in sales running into summer, and that's what most people would have expected this summer. There has been a difference in that, and that was when COVID was going on. Our sales during COVID for several years were better than they had ever been in our lives that period of time. And what we are seeing right this very second is actually above and beyond our COVID numbers. So our sales here in 2025, starting in January, continued our trend from last year, continued fourth quarter numbers all the way through January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and right into this month, August as well. Now, we only had a little tiny slowdown, and that was around the 4th of July. I assume the sales would continue to slow a little bit because we are in summer, but that did not happen. We actually increased and then made up the difference, and now we're above and beyond any sales for the last 25 plus years running through a summer. We have never in our lives had sales like this through summer. We're going to look at some of the items we're selling. Not only are we selling a ton of stuff, we are selling them for top dollar right now. Now, if you pay attention to what's going on, there are tariffs been instigated across the globe from our country. And what that has done is pretty much ground travel into this country from other countries, as well as travel from folks in this country also. And that has increased the spending online, just like what happened in COVID, but it's actually better than it was during COVID, at least for us. We did not have these massive 5-digit every single month now sales throughout summer where we were just swamping all previous summer months. June rolled in with just phenomenal numbers again. The highest prices we've been getting for some of the items that are selling as well are going right now. With the tariffs, as I said, that has stifled a ton of people traveling. So instead of spending several $1,000s to go to Europe or travel across the country, some folks are investing part of that money into buying more and more collectibles. They're still saving thousands because they're not traveling, and that is clearly what has been happening. Same basic principle as what happened during COVID. Declining numbers in travel and in recreation and things like that prove that that's what's going on. Airlines have canceled flights and the whole works coming into this country. Canadian travel is pretty much at a standstill, as is Mexico travel coming into this country. For many, that may have hurt their business. For us selling vintage collectibles and stuff, that has actually increased our business immensely. So for some folks, if you're just selling regular, usual items, they may not have the money for those. They may hold off a little while and see what goes on. So you've got to be careful at what you're selling these days online, because some items, like with what we sell, are for people that have disposable income. The people who buy the things that we sell don't need these things, but they have extra money and they would like to have these things. If you're selling like home goods, dishes, pots, pans, and things like that, the people may need them, but they may not have the money to sink in to buy them from an online site, as well as pay for what shipping costs these days. The shipping cost aspect may negate people buying certain items offline just because they can get them, may not be exactly what they want, but they can get them from other sources locally for cheaper than it would be for them to buy it used, as well as adding in the shipping costs, taxes, and all to that. We're going to hop over right now, though, and we're going to show you some of the items that have been selling and have been earning us a small fortune in revenue right now. So we'll just flip through a few things here. I've just had phenomenal sales across the board in all of our collectible categories. Now, we've been doing a bunch of RA as well, because the tariffs, for us at least, have been extremely useful to help us gain profits from items that are just normal items in the regular stores that people aren't paying enough attention to right now. But from a collectible standpoint, top dollar, high prices across the board, all kinds of odds and ends that in the past weren't drawing as much interest are now just flying off the shelf for us. Here's a invitation, 1910 circa Denison Halloween invitation. We got $190 for this one here. We've got like 50 cents into it. Now here's a lot of cards. There's 40 Flags of Nation cards in this set. Somebody made me an offer. I put this lot together for this person and we sold it for $500. Not only did they buy this, but they bought several of their cards at the same time to get combined shipping. We have had to combine tons of big lots together for all types of different people across many different niches and genres for us. So just the amount of merchandise that's selling is huge. The dollar value it's going for is huge, and it's just flooding us with sales right now. Here's yet another one. This is $36 for just a little window decal. It's 3 1/4 inches by 2.5 inches. Just a tiny little decal. We bought a whole bunch of these for pennies, and this one got us $36. Early trade cards. This is from the International Fair and Expo in Detroit from the Calvert Lithography Company. This one sold for $150. It's the third one of these that we sold in that price range over the years. Now, we've had extremely good luck selling menus. Menus are super, super hot right now, selling for top dollar. We've actually went in and had to raise the price of most of our menus up because they're flying off the shelf. Now, this one was up for a short period of time as well as its twin. We got $135 for this one single carded menu from Stevens House in Lake Placid, New York. Here's the second one, another $135. Sold to the same person, $270 for two tiny, small-sized menus. Nothing fancy, nothing particularly interesting. It's just the location and the time frame. Now, I'm not big into sports, but we always do phenomenally well with programs like this one here from 1927. It's Niagara versus Cornell. It sold for $135. Fairly quickly. We have quite a few more. We're going to list up a couple at a time, and as they sell, we'll just add some more in. Trade cards have been phenomenally good for us. This one has been up for a little while. We still sold it for almost $50, plus shipping on every one of these items. It's basically like a circus sideshow of educated performing horses. Department store items have been hot for us. We list a ton of items related to department stores, including this Filen's department store from Boston. This would have been on a uniform worn by one of the employees in the store. This is the second or third one of these that I have sold. If you don't pay attention, these sorts of things are easy to miss. Department stores, people do not pay attention to the names, especially ones like this that have been defunct for maybe even up to 100 years or more. When they closed down that long ago, most people forgot the names, but for those who are highly into that field, these turn into some big money makers. Now here's another menu. Some of the highest priced ones come from very specific areas of the country, like this one here from Hotel Maryland in Pasadena, California. This one did sell for us for $175. It's from 1908. It's a single card menu. Now, companies that produce and make labels of all sorts, whether it be tobacco labels, can, jar labels, printer labels for God knows what else, these can sell for some very good money. This one here sold for $140, and this advertises Russell Morgan and Company and their show cards and labels that they actually print. Now, I always grab up vintage tickets. We've made thousands, tens of thousands of dollars selling tickets. This lot of just rando tickets from Chicago from 1913 to 1915 sold for $60 plus shipping, and the person who got them was extremely happy. Nice assortment. There's some ins and outs on these. This is a nice lot for some very good reasons, which I've discussed in some of my private groups like on Patreon or here as well. Again, back to the menus. This is Nagasaki Joe's restaurant in Hong Kong, China. It's from 1926, and we did sell it for $150. All told, in about a 2 weeks time span, we sold around $2,000 in just restaurant menus, and that's just in 2 week time span. They are super hot right now. There's a lot of collectors out there, and we've been rushing to list up all we can while the going is good. Now, as I said, sales have just been through the roof. This is a Christmas card, a real photo Christmas card of the Jim Wong troupe. It's a circus performers. They're Chinese acrobats. They were very well known in the 1920s and 30s when this was actually sent out as a Christmas card. Circus-related items right now are hot as can be. Now, here's another ticket. Now, this is for a masquerade ball. It's been separated, but it's all there. It's from 1882. Now, it may look like this may be a foreign item, but this is most obviously a U.S. item for a foreign troupe of, I guess, performers, I think is what the whole nature of this was. It's in English, Thursday, January 26th. More menus, right back to menus. I think we got $108 for this one, and then someone bought this one as well for basically the same price. So almost $220 for 2 more single-page menus. These are from the Del Monte Cafe in Shanghai, China. It also advertises the Russian ballet, which helps add to the value. This type of item here has multi-category interest, which will always get us the most money when you're talking about anything in any field. The more category interest an item has, the better you can usually do with it, and the more money you will usually make. Again, here's another menu here. Now, this one did sell for the price you see. Astor House Hotel. This is from Shanghai as well. And this is from the Tiffin Room. Now, that's a dining room in a specific area of the hotel. Many hotels back in these days could have had 2 or 3 restaurants, as well as like a little cafe in the front also. Not only did we sell this one, but we also sold number 2, as you see here, for the same amount. So again, almost $220 from 2 more single-page menus, all from about the same time frame. Now, I do a ton of money, a ton of purchases, and massive amounts of labels. We're sitting on probably 6,000 or 7,000 labels of various types ready to list, and this is just some examples, some of what we have listed and has sold. Now, the figure on here is the reason this sold. It is in the title, as you can see. It did go for $46, as did another one from basically the same maker, but from a different type of wine. Virginia Dare, as you see here, and it did sell for the price you see also. So almost $100 for 2 labels that we purchased in a big bulk lot and have almost nothing into it. This is top dollar for most everything I am showing you across the board. Not just top dollar right now, but top dollar across the board for years worth of sales data across eBay. Now, I would be shocked if eBay's numbers weren't really good going forward for the rest of the year, because again, we are having phenomenal sales, as are many people that we interact with and talk with as well. Now, Halloween stuff, extremely hot. It doesn't have to be Halloween to sell well. This sold for around $43 plus tax, shipping, the whole works. It doesn't say Halloween. It doesn't have a maker's mark. This type of thing 3, 4, 5 years ago would have got us about $15 or $20. Most, again, of the items that I'm showing you are going for top dollar. Here's another piece here. This is a relic. It has a piece of cloth touched by the holy tongue of St. Anthony of Padua. I may have pronounced that wrong. I'm not a pro on Latin or anything else like that, but this is an interesting piece, typical of what you see from what is called a reliquary. And we've sold dozens and dozens of them. They can sell up into the thousands of dollars, depending on the class of the relic itself. First class may be an actual bone or something like that of a saint, and this is obviously far removed from that aspect. More decals. Now, this one sold fairly quickly, $60. It's just a 4 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch decal. And the decal itself is basically on a clear background, so you can mount it on a car window or something. This is from a Hot Rod Association type of thing. Davis and Ingram World Champion. And it's, again, nothing much, nothing special. This would have been given away in some cases when you bought a specific part for your car or something along that line. Here's yet another one. This one did sell for the price you see it. United Drag Racing Club of America. It's a members decal. Again, this would have been the same basic thing. This would have sat and, mounted on a window of someone's car, and then off you would go. Exactly what you'd see. These would have been the memberships like an auto club membership or something like that nowadays. Now, we do phenomenally well with fraternal items. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts are technically considered a fraternal item. We do phenomenally well with these oddball pins, and this is an early French Girl Guides scouting pin. If you don't know what Girl Guides are, that's basically Girl Scouts in Canada or other countries as well. You can see the little emblem, their floral emblem in the middle. It's supposed to look like a graphical leaf, but anyway, it's an interesting oddball item. It's sold for just over $50. This is one of those pickups. We bought a whole mess of Girl Scout items. We've already made $400 or $500 from this purchase, so all of this is just profit. Now, as I said, labels do extremely well for us. This one here sold for $80. San Miguel Super Bach. It's a beer label from Manila, Philippine Islands from the 1920s and 30s. Little damage. It's got a little piece missing over here on the one side. Other than that, it's a decent label, a scarce label, and that's why it's sold for so much money. I do a lot with ribbons, fraternal, as I just said, military items. Political items can do well also. This is for Cullum in Illinois. Cullum is a city in Illinois, if you weren't aware of that. This is a historical local area tie-in to Cullum, and that's exactly why this sold for the $125 that you see it. Now, I purchased a whole bunch of ribbons like this. We've already made a couple $100 from that purchase. They didn't look like much. We knew more than the person selling them. They had no clue that they were as old as they were, nor did they have any clue on what the context of what was said on the ribbons even meant. Some of them were gar and things like that, which we've already sold for a lot of money as well. Now, tax stamps of most countries can give you a few bucks. This is a 1930s China Ministry of Finance tax stamp. And this would have been attached to a case of beer in the 1930s in China. And this is made for the foreign zone. So more than likely, this was acquired from a foreign establishment in China, probably in Shanghai or one of the port cities there. Probably a U.S. Navy sailor brought this back when they bought a case of beer at some establishment in the foreign zone of that area of China. Nice sale at this one. It went for $70. We sold a bunch of these, similar designs and styles as well, all at the same time from a massive purchase that we still haven't even listed it all up yet. Now, here's a really interesting piece. This one sold for around $130. It's basically a chit embassy card, and you would get a punch and it would be worth so much money. This ticket good for $250, local currency and services in the post barbershop. So you could basically use it for a haircut and things along that line. It would have been only issued to sailors serving in the U.S. Marine Corps embassy in Peking, China. This was basically an embassy guard's card used to get a haircut while they were stationed at the embassy for the 2-year stint that a U.S. soldier would have been stationed there. And just one more item. This is a Halloween item. This is a Kate Greenaway item as well. It's artwork from a book of hers, and it was published here on a trade card advertising for paper hangers, wallpaper hangers, for F.T. Howell & Company in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the 1870s or early 1880s. The witch on there is the fact that drew this card, and the reason why I got around $80 at the end of the day, plus shipping on this one. It has a witch. She's got a broom. There's a moon. There's bats. There's flying witches in the background. Owls, the whole works. It has everything you would want to see from a Halloween type of thing from this era. This is also the highest I have seen this card sell for on eBay in a 3-year time span. So not only did it sell well, but it sold well above most all of the others selling the same card. We added the key features in. We left out features that weren't really relevant to get the most money for the card. So in most cases, everything that I've shown you here is right at the top of the selling price for those items on all of eBay for the last almost 3 years. Again, if you know the right keywords, you sell the right things, you're going to have some phenomenal sales right this minute. And we're not even in the fourth quarter. So my personal opinion, my estimates are that fourth quarter will be our best fourth quarter ever in history of more than 30 years of reselling online. We've been selling online prior to eBay even existing with Yahoo auctions, and I can only tell you that it's gotten better and better and better through the years. Right now, top-notch sales because of things just like this. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Cannons,
mandibles,
omni-lasers,
proton cannons, buzzsaw, omni-lasers,
broadside rockets,
tri-laser,
Questar,
Kulos by Tormako.
The evil Rulons are tired of playing games.
You are finished, Questar.
They want the Dino Riders time key.
Your brother eats flies, Krulo.
The greatest battle in the history of the universe is about to begin. Tyrannosaurus Rex and Diplodocus with motorized walking action, and Monoclonius, each with figures and battle gear.
Each sold separately, batteries not included.